Hello everyone, welcome to this section of the tutorial where we talk about artificial intelligence in the financial domain. But before we deep dive, let's take a step back and talk about the fundamentals of prompt engineering. Now, the skills and the concept that you're going to learn in this section of the tutorial, they are applicable not only in finance, but in any domain that you want to apply AI in. All right. So the goal of this presentation is to explore how we financial professionals can leverage large language models such as ChatGPT. Remember, there are a ton of language models out there, but in this section, we are going to focus on ChatGPT. So we want to learn how to leverage large language models through effective prompt engineering. We are going to cover the types of prompts that you can enter, best practices, practical examples, and also we're going to walk you through how to use ChatGPT effectively. All right. Now, the basics of prompt engineering is on the structure and the design of your prompt. First of all, what you need to do is to draft your prompt. Clearly define the financial question or analytical need you want to be addressed by the large language model. Now, once you come up the draft, structure it, organize with the clear sections, the context, give the context, give the question and also the required format. Do you want it as a CSV file? Do you want it as an Excel file? Do you want it as a JSON file or whatever format that you might think of? Then refine. So whatever prompt you put into ChatGPT will bring back some response. So what you need to do is to refine or iterate to eliminate any ambiguity so that you get the response, the exact response that you're looking for. Most of the times, the exact response that you're looking for will come after several iterations, 2 or 3 iterations. We want to reduce the number of iterations that you do for you to get to the answer. Remember, the more you craft an effective prompt, the better you can get out of language models. So let's talk about the key elements that are expected in any effective financial prompt or any prompt that you might think of. Now, we need to know the objective. In this way, in this section, that's where you clearly state what financial information or analysis you need, such as calculate the debt to equity ratio, the DTI, or any other ratio that you're thinking of, or analyze the quarterly earnings for trends. So that's our main objective. Then you will need to follow up with by giving context to the language model. So the context in this example will be provide relevant financial data, market condition, or specific company information that frames the query appropriately. Because if you do not give the context, language model will just give you response based on its trained data set. But you would want a specific answer, so that's where you need to provide a context. Let's say you want to give a context of a country, context of a company, context of a period. Whatever context, you have to provide a context for you to get the exact answer that you're looking at. Now, we move on to format. Now, specify the desired output structure. Do you want a table, bullet points, JSON files, CSV, Excel files, PowerPoint files, whatever format? Now, this is the beauty of large language models. It can give you exactly what you're looking for. Whatever file structure that you're looking, file format that you want, it can give you the format that you want. So this allows you to ensure that data is presented in the most useful way for analysis. Let's say you want to take that data and put it in your own PowerPoint or on your website, whatever, you need to specify the format. Now, also you would need to assign a role. Now, you need to direct the model to adopt a specific financial expertise to view the problem that you are feeding it with from a specific lens. So you can say, as a financial analyst, as a financial manager, or CFO or a risk manager, what is the best way to manage expenses of the company? You are trying to give it a role. You are assigning a role to a language model. So it will be more specific, not a generalized response. Now, let's talk about constraints. Define limitations, assumptions, parameters for analysis, such as time periods or methodological requirements. You want to focus you'll see when we start to do open ChatGPT and start to prompt it, but you would want to give it some limitation. Let not your prompts be open-ended. Give it assumptions, give it limitations, maybe timeframes in this past week, in the next month, whatever parameters that you think of, make sure that you feed it into your prompt. This will make sure that your results are specific and are related to what you're looking for. So that's basically what we are talking about when we're talking about prompt engineering. It is the design and the structure. Design and the structure. So always, whenever, now most companies, they are willing to pay several thousands of dollars to effective prompt engineers. Why? Because they have mastered the design, they have mastered the structure of the art of prompt engineering. It's a skill on its own. You just do not just type what you think and then iterate and iterate and iterate. You would want to have the responses that you're looking for after one or two prompts. So the goal here in this section of the model is to bridge the gap between raw computational power and the specialized knowledge required for financial decision making. We want to ensure that you are precise. Our model, the response that we get is reliable, and it is context aware. It knows what the limits are, and also is relevant to what you're looking for. Perfect. Let's now talk about the principles: clarity and precision. Do not use too much words. Be very, very, very specific. Go straight to the point. Be precise. Provide, ask for structured outputs, like I just spoke about, CSVs or JSON or even table or even PowerPoints. Always provide constraints and assumptions. Give it context and also give some role, assign some roles. All right, now we are going to give you examples that you might be using. So clarity. The principle here is clarity. A weak prompt will be like, tell me about profitability. It is open-ended. Profitability of what, when, for who. You see, it's open-ended. So ChatGPT will give you something, but it won't be relevant to what you're looking for. So you would want to have a strong prompt, such as, what is the EBITDA margin for Tesla in Q2 of 2023? Now it's becoming more clear what you're looking for. It has to be structured. Some people will just say, show me revenue data. It's still open-ended. A strong prompt would be return quarterly revenue for April from 2020 to 2023 as a CSV file with dates and values. Now we are beginning to learn how to structure those prompts now. Be clear, let it be structured, give some constraints, give it a context and also a role. So on role, you say, help me. A weak prompt will be, help me with the investments. But if you are an effective prompt engineer, you'll be like, act as a CFA charter holder and recommend portfolio allocation to a risk-averse retiree. Now you are assigning a role and also you are instructing it with a clear instruction of what you're looking for. Now, the difference between weak and strong points demonstrate how the structure and the financial context dramatically improve language LL models' output quality. So there's a ton of things that you can do with large language models, but if you use it as a chatbot, you are going to be limited. You are not going to expand. You're not going to explore its full capabilities. So learn this, master this concept, master these skills, so that we can get more out of language models. So let's talk about best practices. Remember, be clear and concise. Give context. Use output directives. What format are you looking for? Start with interrogatives, like you are questioning out. And I have provided here some examples. Check them out. All right. There are basic and advanced types of prompts that you can use. There's zero shot, which are just open-ended, few shots, which gives you some clues, chain of thoughts, which just guide the model to show its reasoning processes. But as an effective AI engineer or AI user, you would want to move from basic to advanced. Now, in advanced, there are different types of advanced prompts, such as self-consistency, react, tree of thoughts, and art, act, reasoning, and tools. Now, for self-consistent, we're looking at generating multiple reasoning paths and take the most common answer on the tree of thought, it's more like a continuation of self-consistency, where we explore multiple branches for financial logic and financial logic simultaneously. React is an alternative between reasoning and acting, searching and calculating. And then art, combine tool use with reasoning for multi-step financial problems. So we would want to play around these four advanced types of prompts: self-consistent, react, tree of thoughts, and art. Now, these are examples that I just come up with that can show that that maintains those five principles that we discussed. So let's just take one here, and let's say credit risk. Based on the financial data and industry benchmarks, categorize this borrower's risk profile as low, medium, high. Provide justification using key ratios. Perfect. You provide financial data. That's the context. Categorize borrower's risk profile. That's the objective. As low, medium, and high. That's the objective. And provide justification using key ratios. You want you to have that tree of thought. You want to see how it's coming up with those ratios. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to move to ChatGPT. Then we can see what we can do from ChatGPT. Perfect. Let me share. So we said we do not want to use language models as chatbots. We want to effectively use language models to our benefit. All right, so this is the interface of ChatGPT. I want you to notice something here. There is tools. Now you can create an image, you can search the web, you can write code, you can run a deep search, and think for longer. Think for longer is where ChatGPT can retain a conversation. Now, most models that doesn't have that think for longer, they forget what you tell them or what you ask them. So the more you iterate, the more they lose the context. Now, think for longer, I'll cater for that so that it does not lose the entire conversation that you have been having with the model. All right, let's do a quick example here and say, right, this is a basic prompt. It's general, open-ended, and we want to analyze the response we are getting. So the weather across the US varies significantly depending on the region. So basically, there is nothing we are getting here, just like any other country, it varies with the region. So I need a bit of more detail to give you accurate information. Could you tell me which city or state you are interested in? You see, so this is a basic prompt. Now ChatGPT is asking you more information for you to be more effective in its response. So you might want to iterate and say, I'll just copy this one. New York. Now we are now refining our prompt. It's now more specific. It's now more engaging. All right. So you can actually take it further and say to the model that you're using, here is my prompt. Refine it and give me the best prompt to use. Now you are asking ChatGPT to refine your prompt so that you can ask effectively. So let's see what is a refined prompt. So here's the refined prompt. What is the typical weather like in the New York City during the months July and August? Specifically, is it windy, rainy, or cold during this time? As a tourist planning to visit, what important weather-related factors or seasonal tips should I be aware of to prepare appropriately? Now that's a perfect prompt. So you can now take this prompt and ask your chat GPT. Then boom, you get the answer. Perfect. Then you can just say, now provide the response to this prompt. Now it gives you the exact prompt that you're looking for and it's detailed. Perfect. So that's how you do prompt engineering. So these are the tools that you need. So let's say you want to write a code, you can come here and write your code, select it here. Now there's another thing that I want to share. If I open the slider here, there's what we call GPTs. Now GPTs, basically, in a basic way, these are specific, I would say they are connected to ChatGPT through APIs. These are specific models that can do specific things. Let's say you want to work with a data analyst GPT. This will be specifically for data analysis. You are already in the context of data analysis. Another one for writing, for productivity, research, education, lifestyle, programming, dare, and many other. Now, let's say I want to do education, or actually let me pull programming. So you can now then pick whatever GPT that you want here. Then you will be now within the context of SQL, within the context of R, within the context of MATLAB, within the context of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this is already, you are already within. It won't give you anything that you don't like. It will be within that context. So sometimes it is better to work with the GPT. For example, this is an image generator. You can this is a language model specifically designed for image generation. Then you can come here and design let's say we want to design a logo for a new tech startup. So let's craft as a new business owner. You're assigning a role. Design, yes, the objective now. Design a logo for a company, for a tech company that is called Intratech Solutions that is focused on artificial intelligence. The logo must use blue, red, and purple colors and provide as a JPEG format. Of course, this one is paid, but basically you will be able to see that image. If I had just gone on I'll just take this one and go on a new chart and just do this one. Oh my. Okay. Let's see if it will allow me one more time. No, I've exceeded my usage cap. Okay, perfect. All right, but basically that's the concept. You will need to be let's see if it allows me. I don't want to use the paid version. Throughout the course, we're going to use the free version, but you get the idea. So now what we are going to do, starting from here, now we've learned the basics, the concepts behind prompt engineering. When we move into finance, we are going to use those concepts to come up with effective and useful prompts to take us through our module. Thank you and bye-bye. See you on the other side.